You're listening to The Residential Movement, where the focus is on making in-home dental care normal instead of novel or niche. I'm your host, Dr. Ashley Robinson, a house call dentist with a lot of passion for reaching patients who are best served in their home or residence. I'm here to encourage, equip, and empower dentists like you to begin offering in-home dental services for patients who cannot get to the office, while also enjoying a more balanced work life. We discuss everything from dentistry, business, ethics, mindset, and more. Listen in to learn how you can become a part of the residential movement. Hi there. I was asked a question by a recent DHCPA grad, so I'm going to share that question and answer with you here today. For those of you who are unfamiliar with DHCPA, it's short for Dental House Call Practice Academy. Dental House Call Practice Academy, or DHCPA, is the online course that I teach that walks you step by step through building your dental house call practice. It covers everything from forming your business entity to today's best practices once you're up and running. Enrollment will open again soon, so join the waitlist at residentialmovement.com/DHCPA. Okay, so the question that I was asked was about task management. How do I manage all of the miscellaneous tasks involved with running a dental house call practice? This DHCPA grad is obviously very aware of all that goes into building her house call practice, but was still wondering how to stay organized and avoid overwhelm. This is a valid concern. There's a lot that goes into building a dental house call practice. It's a project like no other. The good news is that if I can stay organized enough to run my dental house call practice, you can stay organized enough to run your dental house call practice. I am not a naturally organized person. I'm actually a bit scatterbrained, but I found a system that works for me. I'm confident that you'll find a system, maybe even a better system, that works for you. But let's get back to her question. How do I manage all of the tasks involved with running a dental house call practice? Well, part of the answer is actually right in her question. Managing all of the tasks doesn't necessarily mean doing all of the tasks. You've got to be able to delegate. You'll need a virtual assistant in your practice. Now, if you've listened to this show before, you know that one of my favorite things about my house call practice is that I don't have a large team of hygienists and assistants to manage. It eliminates a lot of team management tasks that a chairside doc might have to do, like hiring, firing, team building, and it means I also can go on vacation whenever I want without disrupting other people's schedules. And I'm not dependent on my team for anything. I won't have a bad day when an assistant calls in. I'm just a one-woman clinical show, and I like it that way. The lack of an in-person team does take a lot of pressure off of me and makes my overhead very low. Still, I couldn't run my practice completely alone. I do have an awesome virtual assistant who is more like an office manager that I've worked with for almost 3 years now. I'm able to delegate a ton of work to her virtually. She takes care of all of the tasks like answering phone calls, scheduling patients, submitting claims, anything like that. I suggest you do the same. Delegating to a virtual assistant makes your practice so much more efficient and gives your patients another point of contact when you're busy working with patients. Still, as wonderful as my assistant is, she is virtual. There are in-person physical tasks that I must do in my own practice. And these are tasks that other dentists, chairside docs would never do. Tasks that they normally delegate to their team members. Like sterilizing, for example. When was the last time that you sterilized your own instruments? Have you ever sterilized your own instruments? Do you even know how to sterilize instruments? It's okay if you haven't or if you don't. I didn't sterilize my own instruments until I started doing house calls. I actually had to ask my dental assistant friend to show me how. Other hands-on tasks that I have to do include setting up for my day, sorting through mail, cleaning my office, getting cases to the lab, and all that stuff. And these are the tasks that my student was referring to in her question. So to further answer the question, how do I manage all of the tasks of a dental house call practice? I explained that I keep a very detailed to-do list and that I time block. Keeping track of a to-do list seems obvious, but it must be kept in a place you can easily reference and find. Time blocking just means literally scheduling time out to take care of things that you need to get done. I consider a time block like an appointment that I make with myself to take care of my tasks. And now in order to show her how I keep track, I had to point her in the direction of a tool that I've mentioned on this show before. You know Curve is my trusty EHR. It has everything. Credit card integrations, patient contact automations, imaging, invoicing, reporting, e-prescribe, literally everything you could ever want in an EHR. But I don't think I've ever mentioned the task management feature in Curve. Curve has a safe, HIPAA-compliant to-do list where I can track my tasks and where my assistant can track hers. This helps for virtual tasks like reminding each other to call patients, but this helps me with my in-person tasks too. I can make notes to myself regarding particular patient cases that I need to do, and I can also just take general to-do list notes down too. Curve also allows me to make time blocks into my schedule, so I schedule my to-dos just like I schedule my patients. These to-dos might be packing in the morning or sterilizing in the afternoon or writing referrals or something like that. Utilizing Curve as a task management software is so much better than having a random notebook, a list on a dry erase board, or Post-it notes that easily go missing. It's also much better than me having to invest in additional task management softwares like Asana or Monday. There aren't many EHRs with organizational tools built right in, so I have to give Curve major credit for keeping me and my assistant on track. I've been using Curve from the beginning because it's a cloud-based software with literally everything my practice could ever need. With the lack of an in-person team, I need an EHR that is super capable and easily accessed. So many cloud-based softwares have odontograms and notes but no credit card integration, or they might have invoicing but no imaging. Curve really does have it all. So those were my answers to her question of how do I manage all the tasks. The first answer is delegation, and the second is time blocking and to-do lists. But for both of these methods, I use Curve to stay organized. It works for me, and I know it can work for you. I'm really glad that my student's question gave me the opportunity to share Curve's task management capabilities with you, because I don't think I've ever shared that with you before. I always want to be clear just how valuable this software is to my practice. I love Curve, and I see it as an essential tool for your practice. So if you're interested in utilizing Curve for your dental house call practice, schedule a demo with them through the link on the Residential Movement website for a savings on data conversion and your first month. Visit residentialmovement.com/curve. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I know your future patients are grateful that you're listening, and so am I. I really appreciate you. That's a wrap on this episode of The Residential Movement. If you like what you heard today, please leave a 5-star review and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share this with them. All of these actions help fuel the residential movement. Visit residentialmovement.com for show notes and for access to any links referenced in this episode. Thanks again for listening, Doc. Keep up the good work.